Jealousy is something we've all felt at some point. In small doses, it can even remind us how much we care. But when jealousy becomes toxic, it's no longer about love. It's about control, fear, and insecurity. Left unchecked, it can quietly destroy even the strongest relationships. Today, we'll break down the 7 signs of toxic jealousy you should never ignore, and what they mean for your emotional well-being. It begins with what seems like an innocent question, but soon that question turns into an interrogation. Where were you? Who just texted you? Why did it take 20 minutes to get home when it should have taken 15? At first, you may try to explain or reassure them, but with toxic jealousy, reassurance is never enough. No matter how truthful you are, they'll always find another reason to doubt. You stop feeling like a partner and start feeling like a suspect. It's not about the truth, it's about keeping you on the defensive. Over time, this creates an exhausting cycle where you over-explain, defend your every move, and feel guilty for things you never did. Trust is the foundation of every healthy relationship. That's why snooping and surveillance are such a direct violation. When a partner sneaks through your phone, demands your passwords, or monitors your social media, they're really saying, "I don't trust you." And this isn't about love or protection. It's about insecurity and the need to find proof of betrayal, even if it isn't there. Once privacy is broken, so is safety. You stop feeling like an equal and start feeling watched. Healthy love respects boundaries. Toxic jealousy treats privacy as a secret to be uncovered, until the relationship feels more like a cage than a partnership. Toxic jealousy is a wolf in sheep's clothing. At first glance, it can seem harmless, even loving. You might hear things like, "I just worry about you," or "I miss you so much, please stay home with me." It feels caring, right? But listen closely. The subtext tells a very different story. Behind the words is control. They get upset or guilt-trip you when you make plans without them. They scrutinize who you meet, what you wear, and even how you spend your time. Small choices suddenly feel like offenses. The goal is subtle but dangerous, to shrink your world until they are the center of it, making you dependent on their approval and presence. Over time, it can make you doubt your own judgment and desires. Remember this, love should lift you up, inspire your independence, and make you feel free. Toxic jealousy, no matter how cleverly disguised, doesn't give wings. It builds a cage. This is one of the most dangerous and insidious signs of toxic jealousy. A toxic partner knows that your friends and family are your support system. The people who notice when something is wrong, provide perspective, and remind you of your worth. Because these relationships are a source of your strength and identity, a controlling partner will try to weaken them to gain more influence over you. The process often starts subtly. They might not forbid you from seeing people at first, but instead plant seeds of doubt and discord. You may hear comments like, "Your sister is always so critical of me," or "Your friends are a bad influence on you." They might even manufacture drama right before you're supposed to go out, making you feel guilty for leaving them. Over time, the constant tension makes it feel easier to just stay home. This isolation is intentional and strategic. Abusers may try to convince you that they are the only person who truly loves and understands you, framing your support system as a threat. By cutting you off from your network, you become more dependent on them for emotional support, which makes you easier to influence, manipulate, and control. Toxic jealousy works by shrinking your world until your partner is at the center of it, letting their insecurities reshape your reality. A polite smile, a friendly comment on a coworker's post, or mentioning an old friend. In a healthy relationship, these are completely harmless, everyday interactions. They barely register, and life goes on. But in a toxic relationship, these small, innocent acts can become major triggers. What should be a normal, casual moment can spark intense arguments, days of the silent treatment, or explosive emotional outbursts. Suddenly, nothing feels safe. Even your own words and gestures are scrutinized. Over time, you begin to walk on eggshells, constantly thinking before you speak or act to avoid setting them off. You censor yourself, curtail your social life, and tiptoe around their moods. Slowly, you become a smaller, quieter version of yourself, someone you may barely recognize. Your independence, spontaneity, and joy start to shrink, replaced by fear of provoking another conflict. Toxic jealousy isn't always loud or explosive. In fact, sometimes its most powerful weapon is quiet manipulation. It hides in passive-aggressive comments, subtle digs, and carefully timed guilt trips. They might say things like, "I guess I'm just not as important as your hobbies," or make remarks about your friends or work in a way that makes you second-guess your choices. Sometimes, instead of confronting you directly, they retreat into the silent treatment, leaving you anxious, unsettled, and apologizing for things you didn't do wrong. This isn't a normal argument you can reason with. It's a game, a psychological tactic designed to make you feel guilty for simply living your life, having your own opinions, and enjoying your independence. Over time, this passive manipulation chips away at your confidence, leaving you unsure of yourself and increasingly dependent on their approval. This is the point where toxic jealousy drops its mask entirely. There's no pretense of care or concern anymore, only control. At this stage, jealousy escalates into threats and ultimatums. You might hear things like, "If you ever talk to them again, we are over," or worse, hear emotional blackmail that threatens self-harm. "I can't live without you." These statements aren't expressions of love. They are dangerous attempts to manipulate your emotions and behavior. At this stage, jealousy has crossed the line into emotional abuse. It weaponizes your love, trust, and fear to control you. The message is clear. Your happiness is no longer your own. It exists only within the boundaries they dictate. Healthy love never forces someone with fear or threats. True love is about choice, respect, and trust, not ultimatums and emotional coercion. Recognizing this behavior is critical because it's a warning sign that the relationship is no longer safe or healthy. It's crucial to understand that these toxic habits are not specific to any one gender. If you recognized your relationship in any of these signs, remember this: it is not your fault. Love should feel like a safe harbor, secure, uplifting, and freeing, never controlling or fearful. Let's quickly recap the 7 signs of toxic jealousy: constant suspicion and false accusations, snooping through your phone or social media, controlling your time, choices, or freedom, isolating you from friends and family, overreacting to small, innocent interactions, passive-aggressive comments, guilt-tripping or manipulation, and threats, ultimatums, or emotional blackmail. Recognizing these patterns is the first brave step toward protecting yourself. If you found this video helpful, give it a like to help others discover these insights. Share it with someone who could use a reminder about healthy relationships. And if you're passionate about self-empowerment and personal growth, subscribe for more content like this. Check out the video on screen now, or explore the channel for even more tips and guidance. Thank you for watching.